Hey everyone, it's Faye here and happy spring. Welcome to spring. We've got the equinox around the corner and oh, there's my cockerel. Um, and I really wanted to share some wonderful garden rituals that we can start to bring in so that we can really feel that deeper connection and support and love from the natural world. So again, we're in a relationship with the green world. So if we have a garden, or even if we have a local park which we enjoy walking by, or a tree friend, or even what's being shown to me more and more is this wider sense of the landscape that we live in, the farms that grow our food, and so on. By intentionally sharing prayers, rituals, showing our appreciation, we not only benefit them, but we do benefit ourselves, in the long term. We get much more support and we feel much more of a connection and we learn so much about them. So, um, the first step, really, most simple thing, and if you've read any of my books, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the first step really is to honor and say hello to your garden space. If you have a garden and you've been inside most of the winter, you might not really have been outside that much. But as the weather starts to warm up, we start to get excited about going outside. And it's just a really good opportunity to say hello to the garden space. And if you've never done that before, give it a try. If you've never said hello to the path that you walk down in your local park or woodland or on the beach, start saying hello. Start introducing yourself. Start kind of, recognizing that you're in a relationship, that as you move through life, as you move through your garden or walk down a beautiful street with trees that are coming up into bud and then later on will bloom or maybe even give fruit, start recognizing, oh, we are in a relationship with each other. You are green beings observing me as I am a human observing a green being. So start to sort of open that awareness. And again, by saying hello is the easiest thing to do. And also, I also love to kind of compliment. It's lovely, isn't it, when we see a tree or even, at this time of year, all those lovely bright shining daffodils and go, oh, hello, you look so pretty today. Or wow, what a vibrant color you are. And, or the sweet smell of some of these trees that are in bloom at the moment is lovely. So I love to kind of just bathe in that fragrance and offer my thanks. So really, we're really about honoring, we're about recognizing, we're about showing our awareness and appreciation and thanks. Following those kind of rules, you can't go wrong. So yeah, we want to move into a space where we're consciously spending time in these spaces. So we're not just spending time going, oh yeah, oh, this is nice, I'm in the sun, or spending time on our phones or spending time in chit chat. These are nice things to do. But what we want to do is we want to spend time consciously being present and taking a breath, opening up the senses to what is here, what is around you. So that's really being present and cultivating that presence is really important in terms of starting to kind of tune in your senses to the subtle world. The green world communicates, often really, I suppose it communicates in a very subtle way for us, because we're so used to, lots of things that ping and grab our attention, that actually, that the slow pace of the green world and the subtle nuances of the way they communicate with us is often lost on us if we are not fully present. So there are ways that we can be present. There are ways that we can consciously open our senses. And again, it's all really about intention. You can start to breathe, just become aware of your breath, become aware of your body. Notice how you start to feel in the places that you are hanging out in these green spaces. And start to listen. So we really love to start to open up all of our senses. And we start to kind of look with the inner eye. We start to kind of I'm just laughing because this we have a really friendly white chicken, and she's just come to see what I'm doing here. They free range at this time of year, so that's why they're walking around. So we might sometimes they might jump up on the table. Yes, yes, yes. I know, I know. Thank you. Right, where was I? So where I am. So what I love to do really before I kind of do anything at this time of year is I love to dream with the garden. So what I mean is, and again, I suppose what this is speaking to is if you have a garden space that you want to plant anything in this year, or simply, relax in and enjoy barbecues with your friends, or you might be maybe you've got a small terrace area, a bit like where I'm sitting now, and you think, I just really want to sort of I could see myself this summer just be able to sit there with a glass of wine in the evening and relax. So what I think it's a really lovely thing to do is to dream with your garden. So be outside like I am now, or take a walk if you've got a big garden, walk around all the bits that you've got, and tell the garden your story. Tell the garden what's going on with you. Share your hopes and your dreams with the garden. So, explain to the garden the ideas you've got and what you would really love, what you envision. So say, for example, I've got this area and actually you can't see, it's quite messy. We've got lots of bags of, what we've been kind of renovating over the winter. And so obviously my vision for this place is for it to look a bit more tidy, look a bit more relaxed, with soft cushions, barbecue space, place that we can relax and feel good, more plants in flower and bloom, places to hang herbs, all this kind of stuff. So talk to the garden space. That's kind of really, in a sense, it will share your dreams with the garden. And the garden, obviously, it's not necessarily understanding the words, but it's understanding where you are in your heart space with the garden. So almost sharing the garden. What do you long for? What do you see happening this summer? And if you like to grow stuff, if you're really like, oh, you know what? I really want to grow cherry tomatoes this year. I really want to get my potatoes in and have healthy squash this fall, and grow some raspberries so I can share them with friends and make jam. Sharing all of this delight with our garden spaces, I feel really helps give the garden spaces, the green spaces, they understand almost, in a sense, how we would love to work with them and what we would like to co-create with them. So they're understanding more of a role that they have for us. And obviously they might have their own higher role, which they might share with us if we're really tuned in. But it's really good to kind of get this idea into the garden. So when we moved here, the garden we have, which is kind of behind this wall, is it's a really special garden because many years ago it was planted by a German botanist who was very famous, and she put in some very exotic plants that you wouldn't normally find in Scotland. So she planted it as a kind of show garden, as a show off kind of, this is my legacy, look how amazing these plants are. A little bit ego-y, look how amazing I am for designing it in this way. It's a little bit of that perhaps. And so the garden, in a sense, was very used to visitors coming and having itself admired. She wasn't growing, shall we say, lots of the things that I want to grow. Like, I want to grow food so I can feed myself. I want to grow fruits and vegetables, and I want to grow herbs so I can make, potions, and flowers so I can make flower essences. And I'm sort of growing and producing and sharing in that way, not necessarily in a way where lots of people come and view the garden. So in a sense, there was very much a change of role when we moved here about 6 years ago. And there would have been a change of role when this botanist came to the garden, because prior to that, the land was producing lots of fruits and vegetables, because historically where I live is a gardener's cottage. And so these gardens were historically, and I'm talking about, for centuries, used to produce fruits and vegetables. So it's also really interesting for yourself, if you have a garden space, to kind of think about, what's this garden space been used for in the past? And so we're seeking, what do we really want from it? What do we long for it? And I feel that if we sit out in the garden, if we spend time in the gardens with these kind of prayers, ideas, intentions, reflecting on those, meditating on those, we often get inspiration from the garden itself. We'll get inspiration from whether it's the plants in the garden or the spirits of the land that hold it, or maybe specific elements. They will come in. So that's really important, to dream with the garden. Yeah, and invite it to show you its role, because we, have this specific idea, right? I want to grow a whole row of lavender in this part, but actually the garden might have other ideas, and it might want to show you that. So what I'm suggesting that you do is really start now, because spring's happening, to start this relationship with the garden. And also at this time of year, if you're a grower like me, you'll be planning, you've got your seeds, you'll be looking through seed catalogs, or even actually sowing seeds now, and planning beds even. So we can actually even start this process, a couple of months ago, really. Or whenever suits you. You might be coming to this video in July, and that's still okay. It's always a good moment to tune in with your garden space. So yes, so if you're planning projects, you're planning your plantings, we want to really include the garden and the ideas and inspiration from the garden in all of that. In terms of, and I always like to, the question I always like to ask and include is, what is needed here? How can I help? Because it might be that in these spaces, there really is a need for a shift in energy, or a need for nutrients, water, or even often appreciation and love. And this kind of applies specifically to perhaps spaces which are not cared for specifically by you, but more like public spaces, parks, lovely areas of natural beauty like hillsides, countryside walks, beach places, all the places really in the natural landscape that are perhaps communal places, or even, like I said, agriculture, big agro fields. So if you live in an area where, you drive past every day fields of sugar beet, or fields of cabbages, or I know in other areas of Fife we've got very intensive strawberry production, and like if you're in Spain, you'd have really intensive areas of tomato production. So that land actually needs your love and appreciation. We can spend time tuning in to what is needed here for this land, because that also needs our love, our appreciation. So next time you drive past an agricultural, a farm or a big agricultural sort of unit, just say thank you so very much. We really appreciate the food that you're growing for us, because I don't know if in these large scale operations that land ever gets any thanks. It gets a lot of attention in terms of manual labor, or rather industrial, probably pickers and heavy machinery and pesticides put on it, and so forth. But whether it actually really gets that human connection of love and appreciation, I doubt it. So what I'm encouraging you to do is, as well as your own garden space, or your own lovely favorite walk that you love to do with the dog, as well as giving that your appreciation, please share your appreciation and love with these bigger kind of agricultural farms that we've got going on that produce our food. So offerings, I talk about this in my book. I probably talk about it in all my books, but really I like to share an offering with the land, just really, again, and as a token of my appreciation. So many people do this in different ways. I used to like to leave little tokens, but actually, and more I have so many seeds which are kind of past their best, and I have so much dried flowers and herbs that I actually sprinkle my lands with these seeds. So one of the rituals I do is I walk around the land and I'm sprinkling. I'm sort of talking to the earth. I'm talking to the plants. I'm talking to the space. I'm calling in the elements, the earth, the air, the fire, the water. I'm honoring these elements, and I'm sprinkling seeds and flowers, flower petals, as a token of my appreciation of my love, inviting them to show me beauty this year. So that's a lovely ritual to do. You can walk around, you can drum, you can sing, you can share a poem, you can simply, as I was saying before, dream with the land and say, hi, wow, I'm really dreaming of a beautiful, abundant, growing space this year. Can you help me do this? Show me what's needed here. Can I have your support with this? And like I said, we want to include the elements. We want to include the ancestors. We want to. So when I'm working here, for example, like this, since the 1700s, this place has been, worked on. This land has been worked on. And so I include the ancestors, I include those that went before me, I include the gardeners that used to run this place and grow fruit and vegetables. I invite them in to guide me. We can include our ancestors, and we can include the spirits of the land. So again, it's worth working out and knowing where you live. What kind of folklore is there around? Any fairies, gnomes, tree divas, elementals? Are there any folklore stories that talk about the spirits of the land? What is the cultural story of where you live? Because does that need including? Now, I'm also not very far from an area which is known in Fife for the witch hunting. Again, in the what's that, 1800s, 1700s. Again, so sometimes I include the energies of those who were accused of the. So anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I really like to include the energies of what is around me when I'm connected with the land, because it will show you. And if there's a big body of water, so I've got a big body of water behind me here or in front of me, I will include that, because that has a huge energetic influence as to what happens. We want to include as well the creatures, the birds, the bugs, because they are also going to be playing a part in what is growing in your garden space. Okay, so we want to really be honoring and sharing and inviting them into our ceremony, into our ritual, and showing them our appreciation. So I started this by talking about offerings. So yeah, offering your prayers. I like to offer, like I said, seeds and petals. But really, if you can offer, offering your appreciation, sharing Reiki, offering a smile, sharing your love. And again, for the space itself, and also for specific plants. So I also, if I'm planning, if I've got at this particular moment in time, I've got all sorts of planning happening with all my different seeds. So I simply bless my seeds by holding them in my hand. I can send them Reiki, and I can send them love. I can picture them growing in a really healthy way and abundant. So we connect with the seed before you even plant it, by simply holding it in your hand and holding it into your heart. You can breathe your love into it, and you can share your deepest thanks and reverence for all that it will become, and really feeling into its potentiality. So holding seeds in your hands, and actually also, if you're caring for plants, we can do that all the way through their life cycle, and we can bless the water that we use to water the plants and care for them, and any nutrients that we offer them, or any compost or so forth that we put on the land. We can really ask, I suppose really what we're doing is we're asking for blessings, we're asking for prayers. So I'm not going to share any specific ritual with you, but because I feel that these things have more power, and if they come through us, if they come from us, if we allow ourselves to be guided as to what do I want, am I listening? What do these plants want from me? How could I share this? What could be a creative, loving way that I can show the garden? I love it, and I appreciate it, and I'm excited for what we can bring forth together this year. And so I talked about telling the story, but you can tell the story to the seeds as well. You can invite them on the journey with you, that you want to grow tomatoes because you like eating pizzas, and you might want to make tomato sauce, or you simply can't wait to share them with your friends and your family this summer. So inviting the plants on the journey with you, and I do this with my herbal medicines as well, if you've watched any of my work before. So where else are we? Yeah, and always again offering a prayer for the earth. Okay, remembering the goddess or the earth mother, however you feel, find a way that you feel that you can connect to Mother Earth. Is that through walking barefoot? Is that through simply having your feet on the ground and sending roots down and kind of feeling your way to anchor into the earth? That's a lovely connection to do. You might simply want to visualize, you might simply want to grab earth in your hand and again bless it and say thank you. I think actually saying thank you and showing your appreciation is just like such a big step forwards, because as I said, there are so many elements of like our food chain where we don't say thank you. And of course, if you are a Reiki practitioner or a healer of any sort, you can send healing to these green spaces. So not just the green space which is outside your front door, but the green space which is further afield, like the park in the city or the wastelands that aren't even kind of perhaps being built on, but actually have lots of things that are green and growing on them, and the bigger agricultural farms that produce our food. So honoring the elements, I think I've talked about that. Again, saluting the sun. The sun is out today. What a blessing. Just simply, again, saying thank you, blessing water that we use, and so on. But really, the most important thing is to open, I suppose, really, this is where I kind of would encourage you. If you have a garden where if you have a garden that you're hoping to grow something in this year, or like I said, you just want to simply sit and enjoy a nice barbecue with some friends and feel that the garden looks pretty and nice and is relaxing, that's a great intention. But what we want to do almost is, I tend to kind of start off my year, and I'm calling it a ceremony, but like I said, a ceremony sounds like you need to have 20 people around with loads of drums and lots of ritual, and we're gonna party all night and it's going to be deep and heavy. Actually, ceremony can be really, really simple, and it can be just you walking around your garden with some offerings, with some love, sharing a story with the garden. So obviously a ceremony that you have can be as large or as small as you wish. And I will next month offer some more training on specific ceremony work so that we can all kind of, if you like, be on the same page. But there are no rules for ceremony really. But what I view at this time of year is it's kind of like we're opening for business. We're making that connection with the earth, with the sun, with the water, with the air. We're making that connection with the spirits of the land, all of the elementals that are here, those green beings that are in the unseen. We're reaching out, we're sharing an offering, whether that be a spoonful of jam that we made last year, whether that be a prayer, whether that be we're drumming or sharing Reiki, or just simply saying, wow, I love you. I'm so grateful to be here. I can't wait to see how beautiful you're going to grow this year. So really that's what we want. Those are the basics of what we want to include in ceremony. And I like to walk around the garden and really I'm inviting, in a sense, what we're doing is we're inviting everything to wake up. That's why drumming can be really fun, clapping your hands, singing. We're inviting the birds to wake up. We're inviting the bees to wake up. We're inviting all the little creatures. Wake up, here we are. Spring is here, spring is here. Wake up, come and play, come out and share your gifts today. Beautiful song and chanting and rhythm and lovely prayer, just to say, yes, I'm so excited to play with you, to share with you, to shine with you, to learn from you. And that is really where you are going to start, okay? So I am going to leave it there. I've got lots of other things to share as we move through the wheel of the year, but for now, for spring, it's just this enlivened energy and making that first connection with the garden space and with the seeds you're going to plant and with the plants that you're going to place there, or even if you're not planning on growing anything, but just sharing that story and what you envision and what you would so deeply love to experience this year in the garden is really important to help you really make that heartfelt connection with the garden space that is going to support you in so many different ways as you move through the year. So thanks for listening, everybody. Would love to hear your comments below. Thank you. Bye.